AI workloads on Macs, FCC leaks, and Xiaomi's shameless copying. This is MacVoices. The MacVoices Dispatch is our weekly newsletter about all things MacVoices, from the week's shows to Chuck's other appearances to the week's best MacVoices magazine articles. The Dispatch keeps you up to date. Sign up now at macvoices.com/newsletter. Well, let's shift to some Apple news after over an hour.
Are we still doing a podcast? What's going on?
I felt like some of those really needed to be addressed. This came up today that this is from an article highlighting MacStadium that Macs are increasingly being adopted for enterprise AI workloads.
Oh, yeah.
And I've just sort of been waiting for this, wondering with the power of the M series chips, why we haven't heard just a little more. I know that the NVIDIA rules the universe in AI, but I'm wondering if there's a place for Macs in the more productivity-oriented AIs, and maybe on a more local basis. And Mark, I'm going to turn to you for a second because I wanted to. You and I just had an exchange in our Slack about running on-device LLMs, and it seems like this would greatly improve the experience by having the power of an M series chip.
Yes, but not all M series chips. It's only the ones that have the huge amount of memory to quick refresher course. So the thing everyone many people use NVIDIA for is training, and that is compute intensive, where you need hundreds of thousands. The race is on to 1 million GPUs for training. Inference is different. It takes the output of that model, which is basically a simple way to think of it as sort of like a big spreadsheet where the rows and columns are each unique tokens that it sees, and and then the content within it is transition probability from one to the other. So in order to process and do inference effectively, you want to load everything into memory, because it's it's doing a tremendous amount of computation as it tries to string together that boy and a dog on Halloween story that Chuck referred to as an example earlier. So the unique thing about some of the M series chips is they have such a huge amount of unified memory that is shared, again, both between the CPU and the GPUs. So in and of itself, that makes them kick-ass machines for doing AI work, more so than a lot of things out there with Intel. Because why? Well, Intel, yes, you can get as much memory or more, but it's not on die, so it's going to be a lot slower, and that gives an advantage to Apple. And I think that in many ways, some of their Mac Studios are really sweet machines. I've got about maybe 5 days of experience under my belt working with an M3 Studio with 96 gigs of memory, and for some things, running locally, it's as good as doing some of the things in the cloud devices, and it's private. So I think that's the draw. I think the article here was talking about was it MacStadium, which basically is in the business of either hosting or renting, hosting your own Macs that you provide, or they sell you Macs that they dedicate to you, or they will rent out Mac space. So I think that this is maybe we'll have to see if this is a secret that evolves. Especially there's rumors about an M5 chip, and we'll have to see what happens there, because earlier this year, I guess when the M4 came out, everyone was saying for AI application, don't buy it. It's better to stick with the M3. Why? Because it has much twice the or 90% more memory bandwidth between the processor and the memory, which again, for doing inference calculations on large data sets, that's absolutely important. And let's not forget, at iPhone launch that came out, and they said basically they didn't use these words because they said they're putting a tensor core, which basically is a specialized chip to do matrix multiplication, which is an essential part of inferencing. And they said they called it a neural core, inferencing accelerator or whatever it did, and they're putting one per core. So obviously Apple is improving their silicon to do a better job of inferencing. So I think we may see the start of a tip, and I think especially as the battles, it seems to turn to people wanting to deploy inferencing on a larger basis, and people get over the fact that yes, it's great, but let's say, do people want to pay the NVIDIA tax, or do they want to have their own hardware? Because there's a lot of debate in the semiconductor space about the hyperscalers at various levels dividing their own chips again to do inferencing to make it more efficient, so that number one, they don't have to pay the NVIDIA tax, and number two, by doing a specialized chip, they can make it more power efficient than allow those power hungry GPUs. So I thought this is a very, very interesting article. I'm glad to see it. No prediction on trends and if it goes anywhere, but I would say that I think they certainly have a product set that could certainly expand more if they add, instead of advertising privacy for the Apple Watch, they start to advertise on football games, what their machines are capable of doing, and it's all private and on device. I think they have an exciting way, but certainly for corporations, I think we should ask Mr. Bixby if he's still here.
I'm here.
Yeah, if he can comment on what in the corporate world that he has visibility into, if they're sticking with sort of the traditional Dell or HP server vendors, or if they're looking out to anything in the Apple space. Over to you.
I'm going to say something. There are more people on this panel that know more about what I'm about to say than I do. I kind of understand the corporate and the stockholder thing, but I think one of the things, I think this is a win-win for these hosting services, if you will, if I can use that term, and for Apple. Apple has a lot of money built in and that they've spent in developing their own silicon. They've spent a lot of money developing it, and if they can figure out a way to spread out those costs over more units, because people like this, these services, I can see how that could be a win-win for everybody. I think one of the things, and you kind of touched on this, and here again, I'm way over my skis on this, but I think one of the things that makes the M chips or A chips, or whichever flavor you want to talk about, they're very power efficient. And I think that's one of the things that we've seen, especially with how the battery life on our laptops or our phones or whatever is just. I'm really impressed ever since, especially over the Intel machines. So anyway, I think this is going to be a great win-win for Apple and for the providers too. So I don't know if I exactly answered your question, but.
You made some good points. Offline we could dig a little bit deeper than you might want to do in a public Zoom session.
I owe you a bottle of wine too. So.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, jeez. Dave.
Yeah. With my experience with Macs and the experience that the enterprise has, some companies are going all in. They've been all in for quite some time. Where I'm experiencing right now is it's a slow move because of working through the back end, having the functionality of being able to have the systems to be set up so you can roll this out to a lot of people. With AI the way it's going, I'm kind of in the walking into the door. We're with my experience, we're going through a lot of AI different exercises. So I'm kind of more at the ground level where it's going, but this is exciting to see because the Mac is going to help this because of that M series processor, the silicon, is going to drive a lot of this data processing. I see a lot of engineers and scientists and the such that prefer the Mac only because of this reason. That going through statistical analysis and going through a lot of these types of things that will allow the Mac to be a better way of doing this. But you could spin it on the other side too. You've got PCs out there that are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 that people are using to drive a lot of this data pushing as well. But this is definitely an interesting survey to see where this is going. I mean, you've got a little ways to go, but I mean, Apple's in a great spot with the Macs. That's no question about it.
Yeah.
Can you comment on where your day job? Are they close to deploying any AI systems, or are they still in the development and research stage?
Yeah, I can't comment too much about it other than just what I see as far as usage. I'm more on the user end level of what's being used, trying to get everybody educated to using AI. Specifically, we're using Copilot, so that's no big secret that's out there. And having that tool and using it is the biggest key. There are a lot of employees are resistant to AI. You hear people all the time, "Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that." But for what it's being able to do and being able to bring this to the front and how so valuable it is. We know, we've been talking about this a lot. We got ChatGPT and Copilot and others, Gemini. There's some great value of what these can do, what you can do for us. I mean, just efficiencies alone with being able to do spreadsheet comparisons, being able to find your emails like exponentially faster than you can just by going into Outlook and searching for it. Getting the employees educated how to use this tool, and we're already starting classes and going to kick off a way of talking about AI more and more. And I'm excited about it, and I hope the Mac is part of that. I mean, I think it's going to be in a lot of companies.
Eric?
Small language models are starting to get much more capable and are gaining in popularity for use in chatbots and content summarization, interactions alongside mapping utilities, like say in cars, and is it for examples in classroom use, where you might be able to use a large language model, but you're interacting with student information and students, so you can't send it out to a separate model. You want to do something in class and you're constrained on network bandwidth or whatever because of the class. A small language model, you can get the concept across, it will run on a laptop, and the response time is really quick. So my recent requests had all been for hardware to run small language models for use in a classroom. I think they were using BERT and Llama 7B. And so I figured I'd add that into the discussion.
I'm glad you did, because that's something that I think is going to become more and more important, is the on-device models. Sort of to Mark's point, that privacy is going to become a big deal with a lot of these things, because I keep seeing corporate AI policies, and probably the one thing that every one of them have in common is you don't upload the two things. You don't upload customer data. You don't send up your own company's information. Generic queries seem to be okay. How you utilize those, the results of those queries, that's another discussion, because that really varies widely. But the idea that I may want to develop a large language model for the company I work for, it needs to be running privately. Now, how well it's going to perform compared to some of the other things, that's another matter. But I would have the comfort of knowing that all my experimentation, all my prompt explorations are going to be completely private.
I'll go back on the privacy thing. It's very safe. It's very safe. My experience is very safe because that data can be uploaded because information security teams are going through this with a fine-tooth comb. They want to make sure if we're going to be utilizing these tools, you cannot have an issue with security. You go with Google, with Gemini, you got ChatGPT, you have Copilot. Copilot being more in the corporate end because many companies are in the Microsoft camp with that, but they have it in such a way where especially when you have a Copilot full license. I know many of you haven't had the experience using a full license for Copilot, especially on the enterprise side, because you got the work side and you got the web side. So you can search specifically what going on the website, but still feel safe that you can upload that data and be able to do things just like just doing a simple analysis of a report or trying to put together some formulas that had to do with a spreadsheet or anything that was involving some data that's specific to a client. On the work side, you get that set up to be able to search anything that's on your intranet, being able to find things, being able to go out and say, hey, I'm looking for this, and being able to go get that. The security is in place. I mean, I wouldn't be experiencing it if it wasn't. And I know a lot of companies are in that position that they are doing it, but you just have to have you got to have the people in place to be able to implement it. And I'm seeing we're there, but it's going to still take some time. I mean, to be fully ready and comfortable to be able to do this.
For some reason, I feel like this next article kind of fits in with that. That the FCC leaked confidential iPhone 16e schematics.
Yeah.
So you get into this point where, I mean, think about it. The FCC, you would think, would have a lot of really great security, and yet there's this. And so I hear what you're saying, Dave, and you know how I feel about Microsoft. I don't make it, and this is not a Microsoft brand. It's any company.
Okay, may I?
Just my experience of what I am experiencing, because that's what I work with. But you're right. I mean, not everybody. I mean, we have debates about this all the time, and yeah, I understand. Microsoft's not the best products in the world. There's no question about that. But I think Apple is going to get back into this game. If we've been talking about for a while, will Apple get into an LLM and be able to get a company like they were looking to buy some of the other companies out there. They have to be looking at it, but that's the problem. Everybody's so frustrated with Apple right now because of their direction of what's going with AI, specifically with Yes Lady and with getting that going. And Apple Intelligence is still got a long ways to go. So they're kind of behind the eight ball, but we're kind of used to that with the way Apple works. I mean, they want it to be perfect. And then does it harm them sometimes? Yeah, I think it kind of does. But you got Google and Microsoft battling it out here to getting people to work with these tools all the time. It all depends on the company and what they do. But yeah, I agree with you. There's many other great tools out there. Just hope to see where it goes, because Microsoft has to spin their business. For years, Windows was their business. They made tons of money on Windows. Well, they've spun away from that. Now you have Microsoft 365, all the tools that comes with that. Are we going to even have standalone apps anymore because of what AI is doing? Hard to say. I wouldn't be surprised. But you got employees that are working for so many years who are used to using Outlook, used to using all the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, don't want to use the web-based versions. So that's where I think things are going to be kind of interesting. See where those go, specifically with AI too.
Yeah.
Could I interject?
Sure.
Again, back to privacy. I think David made a whole bunch of points, all at once, and I think one of them I'd like to extract, which is anybody who is sending something to ChatGPT or to Meta's Llama or DeepSeek or any of these other things, your prompts and any files that you upload, that's a big leak of information. And it may be stuff you don't care about. It's, tell me the nutritional value and tell me how much fat and salt and sugar and bad stuff and good stuff are in, this week's shopping list. You may not care about that, but if it's something, to analyze, oh, this is really tricky. Tell me about, you know, tell me about, pretend you're paralegal. Read this contract. What are the particular risks for a client who's in the X, Y, and Z industry? Blah 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 blah. If they sign that, so that's leaking. I guess the security people call it sort of a side channel leak. You're leaching in all sorts of confidential information. So I just wanted to clarify that because I think a couple of weeks ago, Sam Altman he was either giving a talk somewhere, or he was testifying in front of some legislative body, and he was making a point that saying, some of our people have extremely private conversations, like it's a therapist. And right now, if we get served, we have to hand it over. So we need to extend our legal system so that it affords the same sort of client-patient privacy that you get, talking to a lawyer or a doctor or a priest, as you would get if you're interacting and having conversation with an AI model. So, I mean, this stuff is really moving in all sorts of interesting ways.
It is too, because the fact of the matter is, companies. What I experience. You can't access the other models. I can't access ChatGPT at work. I can't access Gemini limited to what I use in Google.
So they firewall it.
It's all firewalled, right? And then when you get into the infrastructure of Copilot and Microsoft, you're in Azure. You're in the four walls of their systems. We have a set aside place. Any company has it this way. You have set aside parts of Microsoft's infrastructure that locks it down to specifically our company, and have it in place where it's filtering things. If it sees something that's not valid, it's not going to allow it. So that's what I'm thinking is one of the good things about having this and having the security of doing that. Information security is just paramount. It really is.
Yeah. Listen, everything's moving so fast. I mean,
I can't keep up. Honestly,
if you look at the news headlines of 3 months ago, what the difference in just what these organizations are releasing and the models they're doing, and 1 minute they've got a better visual model than the next company, and then we get to Mark's comments about Sam Altman and the legal protections. There's a lot of catching up to do here. Meanwhile, the AI race just runs faster. We're going to do one fun one and then get out of here. Last week or the week before, we talked about Xiaomi and how they're copying Apple. And this just is unbelievable to my way of thinking. Their latest Apple clones include Hyper Island and Pad Mini.
Yeah.
Have they no shame?
No,
they don't.
Really?
They never have.
Really?
They never have.
And can they come up with an original idea of their own? Now we're the whole way back to the first thing. Is AI generating this stuff because it's absorbed all the Apple stuff and nothing else? It's just unbelievable. Marty?
Yeah, the article that we didn't cover was the FCC mistakenly leak confidential iPhone 16e schematics. Zale doesn't need to make stuff up. They can just get the schematics from the FCC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and Steve Jobs said it, good artists steal, great art, or good artists copy, great artists steal. That it must be a great artist,
I think Steve may regret that comment if he were here.
If you were here, yeah.
If you want to be high in Google searches, you need to be able to game the SEO. And we already know that these terms help boost ranking. So why not? And I know the SEO experts are like, oh my God, Jeff, just shut up.
Hey, Jeff, I'm going to give you the last word about your article that you pasted into our private chat here.
Oh, wow. Okay. So bringing it back full circle to the whole AI actors and videos and all of that. Someone posted on Instagram just recently a video that they clearly state, hey, I made this thing. This is fake. But it would be very easy for people to mistake it for actual security footage. And it's footage of Sam Altman inside a Target stealing GPUs and then getting caught by the security guards on his way out.
Are you sure it's no, never mind.
Fake news.
Yeah, fake news.
Yeah, fake news.
Man. Guys, we didn't get through anywhere near all the articles we had queued up, but that said, I think these were some really great discussions about some things that are not going to go away soon. And they're not going to go away soon because they don't have easy answers. So hopefully we've made people think a little bit about them. I know you guys have made me think about a couple of things. Marty especially, he really got me with the avatar thing. I hadn't even considered that some of this has already happened. So nicely done. Let's go around the room, find out who's here and or who was here, has been here, whatever.
Might be
and
here.
We'll get out. Yeah, might be here. And I'm going to take it from the bottom up this time. Mark Fuccio, thank you so much for being here and sharing some of your wisdom. Where can folks find you?
On X, formerly known as Twitter, or Zitter affectionately, MarkFuccio, or on LinkedIn under the same name. Or I'm here on a semi-regular basis, although after tonight, I'll be out of pocket until early November. So carry on.
We will. We'll be here when you get back. Jim Ray, thank you for being here as well. I hope you get your headphone situation worked out. Where can folks find you? You're muted, Jim.
You can't find me. I'm muted. Best place is Mastodon. ProView Jim, ProVueJim at techhub.social. Lots
Great.
going on there.
Good. Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it, as always. Jeff Gamet, thank you for being here. Where can folks find you?
Well, when I'm not busy setting up that new walk-in cooler for Jim so that he has a place to work where his AirPods Max actually function, I'm on social media as J Gamet, and I'm doing most of my posting on Mastodon and Blue Sky and PixelFed. Then for shows, here with you on Tuesdays for MacVoices Live, with Dave on his show, In Touch with iOS, on Thursdays, and the big show on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. Also, Brand Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
Thank you, Jeff.
By the way, Brian, you're such an awesome fan of Retro Rewatch, and I love you for it.
It's a highlight of the week.
I thought this was
dropping soon.
I thought this was the highlight of the week.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So many
but
great highlights. Multiple highlights.
Yeah. Okay. Multiple highlights. All right.
We're just so iterative. You need to get the AI out of it. It'll be good.
Film at 11. Well, Bixby, thank you for being here. You and all the flags in the background. Thanks to the Quilt Queen. Where can folks connect with you?
By the way, I've renamed her Q squared.
Q squared.
Instead of QQ, we just Q squared. So,
did you consult with her about that?
She doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can find me like usual. I'm all the socials. My handle's pretty much the same on all of them. Web Bixby, WEB, BIXBY. But I kind of concentrate on Blue Sky because I like the name.
I like it. Thanks, Webb. Good to have you as always.
Thank you.
Guy Serle, it's good to have you back.
Thank you.
You're always welcome. Where can folks find you?
Well, there is the new version of a podcast that I did since like 2009, the My Mac podcast, called The G-Men. You can find that on Spotify and all over the other various aggregators out there, because I do like to aggravate people. If you're looking to speak to me on the web, I am on both Twaxter and on Blue Sky, because I like to piss off both sides at the same time under the name Mac Parrot.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, almost forgot. Retro Guys Daily Drives. I'm still in 2018, 3 times a week. I'm reposting all of those because when I stopped my hosting at a particular web hosting company, all of those went away. So they're all being reposted over on Spotify. You can also find those all over the place. Comes out 3 times a week. Guys Daily Drive.
Okay. Well, that's a lot to repost, Guy.
Yeah, all the way back to 2018. Yeah, but it's not every day. After a while, it became like, it's the Daily Drive, but I only do it like once a week. So,
okay, so it's not quite as daunting a task.
No, it was not.
Eric Bolden, thank you so much for being here and for educating us on the green metallic bee. Where can folks find you?
Well, let's see. Tomorrow I'm going to be out working on a chicken dating project. And there's supposed to be a rooster showing up to visit the hens and see if they all get along with each other. It could go horribly wrong, but we'll see.
Your background next week is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it might be a really tired rooster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I can be found on Mastodon at eabolden@mas.to. On Mondays, on Vision Profiles with all the Vision OS wonderment. Ooh, nicely done, Brian. Tuesdays, of course, here on MacVoices, getting all the Mac OS news. And on Thursdays on In Touch with iOS. With
that was bad.
iOS, iPad OS, and Vision OS news, finishing out the week, making sure I cover all my OS bases.
Folks, if you don't watch the video version, at least occasionally, you just don't get a lot of the of like Marty right now is showing us the lid of a MacBook with stickers for all the shows that we've mentioned. So, yeah. Thank you, Marty.
You know, I feel kind of special because I was watching Marty while he applied those stickers.
I was too, actually.
Yeah, the great thing is he didn't know we were there. We snuck in.
He did.
Brian Flanigan-Arthurs, thank you for being here. Where can folks find you?
Well, again, thank you so much for having me. Best place to find me, if you want to find out information on things I'm working on, brian8944.com. You can also find me here most Tuesday evenings, and I invite you to get caught up on the Desk of Brian, podcast that comes out every 2 weeks. New episode is dropping on Thursday.
Excellent. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Marty Jencius, thank you for being here and forcing your way through. I know it hasn't been comfortable, but we're glad to have you. Where can folks find you?
You can find me and the projects that I do on the podtalk.net. That includes Vision Profiles on Monday nights with Eric and Dave and Daniel, and then Tuesdays here with Chuck, Thursdays with Dave on In Touch with iOS. 2 new projects coming up that Brian doesn't have stickers for yet. The first one will be coming out sometime in the next week, AI Productivity Workflow. And it's interviewing people who have used AI within their work environment and some hacks and suggestions that they have. And the other one that we just recorded first on Monday, our first episode, is Fade to Chat, Golden Age Cinema, where we do Arsenic and Old Lace for the first film. And then I think we're doing Some Like It Hot coming up as the next film. So you'll see that appear through the feeds coming up soon.
Great. Thank you, Marty. I really appreciate it, as always. Last but absolutely not least, from his new perch in his newly redesigned office,
Yes.
Mr. David Ginsburg. Dave, thanks for being here. Where can folks find you?
Thanks for having me, as always, Chuck. You can find me at In Touch with iOS, intouchwithios.com. You can find me on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/intouchwithios. I am on Vision Profiles on Mondays for the Vision Pro. We always have a blast there. Here on Tuesdays, Thursdays, we record In Touch with iOS, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And Fridays on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network most weeks, as well as I'm on social media, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Dave G65.
Thank you, Dave. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks to you all for being here. Thanks for the folks in the chat room. They were a little quiet tonight. I think they were in awe of our discussions. Either that or they just didn't have anything to add. I'm not sure which. This is Mac Voices Live, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. We do this all the time at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. We'd love to have you in the chats so you can comment on what we're saying. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.